And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ask Us Anything. We're Mike and Jennifer Wendland. And we're in our house tonight instead of the RV.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be in the RV. Now I'm freezing in the house. We're in a sleeveless top.
The reason we're in the house is because it's 90 plus degrees out there. And last week, I think we were in it, and it was so hot and humid because we can't run the AC in the RV because the AC is so loud. So we said, let's not do that again. So we came in the house. So welcome. We're glad you're
Welcome to our home.
Welcome to our home. Make yourself comfortable.
Our stick and bricks home.
Sticks and bricks. Just go to the fridge, open up whatever. Take whatever you want. There's not much in there. So anyway, welcome everybody. We got a lot to tell you, I guess. We had a great week, didn't we?
It was fun. We had a little getaway.
We were camping, and we went to a region to camp in. We've been in this region many times, just driving through, but it's called Michiana, and it's really southwestern Michigan and northern Indiana. It's kind of centered around Elkhart, the RV capital of the world. And every time as we've gone back down there year after year, we see all these places where you can camp. And so this year we said, well, why? Because we had to do some business in Elkhart, and we said, let's find a place to camp. And we found a great spot. And I don't know if they're all watching us tonight out there, but they said they were. So we say hi to everybody at Goff Lake. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful little spot.
There are so many little lakes in that part of Michigan. Besides Big Lake, Michigan, there's lots of smaller lakes.
We were in a town called Marcellus, and they had a sign in that town about the lakes.
Yeah, they said there were 36 lakes within 6 miles.
36 lakes. And we saw many of them as we went back into Elkhart every day on Thursday, Friday, and then we'd come back to the campground. And we looked at a few of them. And
we also found a really good restaurant that we ate at.
Oh my
Somebody in the
gosh.
campground said that it was great, and it was a good restaurant.
It was. What's it called?
The Rock.
The Rock on
But it closes.
Fish Lake. It's on Fish Lake.
It closes, I think, about Labor Day or shortly thereafter.
I mean,
maybe
gourmet
October.
food, fresh food.
It was
awesome.
it was very good. I had salmon, and you had a steak.
And I can tell you that Jennifer is on Amish crack.
Yeah, we've been told so many times about an Amish bakery.
In Elkhart.
In Elkhart. So we decided this time that we were going to stop by.
It's called Rise and Roll, and it is. They make all their donuts and all their baked goods are great. It started by an Amish couple who wanted to be a blessing to their neighbors. They started selling it on their porch, and they did that for a few years. Then it was bought now, but the same traditions. And they make a cinnamon caramel donut that they call Amish crack. That's how good and addictive it is.
Now, I bought 4 different kinds of donuts. Mike is on keto.
I couldn't eat
so
anything.
He can't eat sugar. Shouldn't eat sugar because we're trying to be faithful to the keto. But I had a bite, and my favorite was a bear claw.
Yep.
That was absolutely my favorite.
Was that the
donut.
one that had the
the apple and cinnamon, and everybody knows what a bear claw is.
And then they had one that had.
And then I like jelly donuts.
They had like
I could only get lemon jelly.
Heath Bar toffee.
That was too rich for me.
Yeah. And then the Amish crack, you like that? Though?
It was good. It was good. But once I had the bear claw,
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't have any, but I did do a video, and
we'll
watch
in a
Jennifer
couple
eat
months.
them.
Yeah.
Well, I shot all 3 of you testing all of them.
And every one I said was the best.
Yeah, well, you'll see. We don't give the video away. But we have a video on Goff Lake and all the fun we had. And then we had some challenges.
Oh, my goodness. I had 4 pieces of bacon to cook.
4. Because I can have keto in the morning for bacon.
Yeah,
and she was so nice. I didn't know. I was in the
bacon
shower.
and eggs because he can eat that. And the smoke detector is a little bit close to the cooking area. I've noticed that in the past.
It's way too close.
Anyway,
Crazy close.
because it has gone up making toast when the toast didn't burn. So anyway, the bacon was not burning, and it set off the smoke detector, which was very loud. Poor Bo.
Well, let me tell you how loud it was. People came from all around to say, "What's the matter? What's the matter?"
Yeah, the owners of the park had to be, half a mile from us?
And they came. What's happening?
And Mike was in the shower. I thought he would,
Yeah.
move a
I
little
heard it
faster
going
than
off,
he did.
but I was all.
And normally, you just take the battery out, and I couldn't unscrew it. And I thought, well, he'll be out here soon, and
But
he'll do this.
it
I'd have to take the pan of bacon outside and let it stop, and then as soon as I went back in again and tried to
the
cook
smoke
it.
detector is way too close to the cooking area.
I think it is.
Obviously, somebody doesn't camp or ever used it. To
Normally,
put it there,
we do bacon outside, but I only had 4 slices of bacon to cook.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but oh, what a ruckus!
but that was just one of a bunch of stuff that happened. Probably the most annoying.
Memorable.
Now, first of all, you make the best of everything, and we do understand that RVs break. Stuff in them breaks. They're even new RVs like ours, which is 2 months old, because when you're driving down the road, it's like being in a 5.0 earthquake. I mean, your house couldn't do that without having major structural. Well, it's amazing what RVs can get away with. They do pretty, but stuff breaks. But we didn't expect that we were making lunch one afternoon. We turned around and kablunk, the refrigerator door came off.
Yeah, the
popped
refrigerator door kept popping off. So
what was with that?
it just needs to be replaced. There's a little metal part that maybe isn't quite long enough.
I don't know. I was able to get it back on, and then
And you got a lot of practice.
and then about every second or third time we opened it,
I had to remember to open it a certain way.
the
way I don't
it
normally
would fall
open
off
it.
again.
Yeah, it
So
made for a little excitement.
So yeah, it made for a lot of excitement because you need your
You got to
refrigerator.
fix it.
So we got it back on, but it'll just pop right off again. So we called.
We're going to get it fixed.
And the challenge we face with that is, and we learned this when we were in Elkhart talking to people, all of the RV manufacturers are having trouble getting parts. Most of the suppliers shut down during COVID. And so they're just starting to ramp up. There's a backlog on all sorts of parts. I was able to get an appointment with our dealer, and the dealer said, I just don't know they're even anybody at Dometic, that's who makes the refrigerator. I don't even know if they're even working. Or they're all working remote. I don't know if they're shipping. So we don't even know if they're going to get the thing. I got an appointment like Wednesday. We don't know if they'll get the refrigerator door by then, whether they even answer the phones. I don't know. And then a couple hours after that, we're out someplace. We're in another park. We're doing some day camping, hanging out, and the inverter didn't work. The inverter just stopped working. Our 2001 inverter. It works fine, when you're plugged into shore power. If you run the generator, it passes through. But inverter, it's probably a fuse that has to do with somewhere in the lithium battery package. I have no idea. So I have no inverter when we're on the road and I want to run off the batteries, run stuff off the batteries, the lithium batteries. All this on a 2-month-old unit. So things happen. We're going to get them fixed. It's not the end of the world. We still had a great time this weekend.
We had a very good time.
And we also solved a dilemma, a major dilemma that we had. And that has to do with Bo riding in the new RV. There's not as much space between the driver's seat and the passenger seat for him to take his customary spot in between, as we did on the Sprinters. So we've had trouble keeping him out. And you came up with an idea.
I said, how about some netting? Something soft that he isn't going to get hurt on.
And that was our friend Steve Height from from OB Organizers. OB Organizer. We did a video on them on how they came up with all these ways for us to organize and store stuff. And you sent him a video email, and he answered you back, and we went, and he has a solution. I just want to give you a look at it. We'll show you in the video, but there is Bo. We'll put it over me. There is Bo, and that's where he wants to go. But there is what we are calling the Bo barrier.
Poor Bo.
What do you mean, poor Bo? He gets in it. So where we really want him to sit is right up on that seat over his left ear.
Behind the driver's seat.
But we'll have to train him. But meantime, thanks to our friends at Organizer Obi, they have come up with something called the Bo barrier, and we're good to go. So
there just isn't enough room in the Ford Transit for a 65-pound dog to be there.
No, there isn't. And you really don't want a dog there, even if there was room, because they get in the way. So, well, those were our adventures. But we had a great time camping, met some wonderful folks. Can't wait to go back. And we hope that wherever you were, that you've been able to get some summer. The weather's been gorgeous, a little warm. I'll say one night it was cool. It was very cool, but most of the time it was very warm. All right, that's a long intro.
It was.
But we wanted to update you on what we've
10
been up
minutes.
to. Yes, it was. Well, now it's your turn.
You better get to work.
First guy online today is Ray Malden, and he says, have you practiced changing a tire? No, I have not. Could you use the leveler system?
I don't think so.
You know, maybe you could. I don't know.
Do we have a spare tire?
No, but you need still to take them off. I don't know. Yeah, it would hold it up and you can get it off, but I have not tried that. So I haven't. I have.
That's what we have.
I have
road
Good
service.
Sam Club, and I have road service from my RV dealer and Leisure Travel Vans. And if I have a flat tire, I'm calling them. But
your days of changing tires, because when we were young, we had lots of flat tires.
We did.
So
I'm not going to talk about a flat tire because that is bad luck.
Yeah,
that's good.
Hopefully we won't have a flat tire, but it can happen.
Thank you, Ray, for that. And I appreciate the way you put all in caps question, because we have several hundred people online right now. And when you ask, a lot of people are just saying hi, and we love those too. But the questions help us get right to you. Of all your RVs, which one have you liked the most? And do you like the twin bed configuration or the couch? Truly enjoy your show. Well, Thomas, I think our answer to that is always we like the one we're in.
And there's pluses and minuses to everything. The one that we're in, the bed is made up all the time. We have lots of storage room.
Oh my, lots.
I loved our last Unity. Loved that thing. Loved the 2 sofas. It was very comfortable. The seating and everything. But we didn't have the outside storage. So there's pluses and minuses with everything.
A lot of my gear had to be right out there in the living area.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I carry more gear than anybody else does, because I've got several suitcases filled with cameras and drones and portable podcast studio and all that stuff. And so it's tough to find it. But we do miss the Unity sometimes. We missed it. We didn't tell you the other part. First night in this thing, this trip.
And we should know better.
Jennifer says, it looks like Las Vegas in here, she said. And what she's talking about is those little pilot lights that come on. So the equalizer system has 4 little red lights that show that the levelers are down.
4. There's a whole mess of them.
Well, they are, but only 4 of them are lit, I think. And then, let's see. Then there's a light.
You have added things.
There's a right light. There's a right light with the 2 TVs. There are the blue lights, the USB lights, where we have our phones and our watches charging. We have our Nomad Internet, which kind of has a purple light. And so she was spending all her time taking clothes and hiding them and trying to cover up these lights.
And we should know better.
We've gone through that in every RV we had.
We did not have lights in the last one, the Unity. Why did we not have lights? Did you cover everything up?
No, we didn't have all those lights.
We didn't have all those lights.
We did not have all those lights.
We got spoiled. I don't know why we have so many now.
Well, it's just those blue LED lights that because when the Murphy bed was down, you're sleeping on top of the blue LED lights. You didn't see. Anyway, so we had fun.
But we know, because from past ones, we always have to figure out. You have to get some little black circles that you can order online and put them on top of all those little lights. Or we just use
little black masking tape and cover them.
Or electric tape, cut it.
Yep.
We were naive.
Anyway, but Tom, we do like the one we're in very much. And we wouldn't obviously have gotten it. We like the twin bed configuration, and it'll make into a queen, almost a queen, which is really nice. Bradley, what kind of gear do you use for your photography still images, and what program do you use to edit? Future Wonder Rear Lounge owner, summer 21. For photography, I basically use Lightroom. That's what I do for most of my edits, and for stills. And then for my video editing, I always use Adobe Premiere Pro. That's the standard for video editing. I mean, you can get cheaper programs, but they just don't do that much. So I use Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'm looking for questions. And I
Who was the first one on?
I said that.
Okay.
You were. That was so 5 minutes ago. That was Ray Malden that was on.
With the question.
That we answered it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, down to the next question. There's one from David. How are you finding the power on your Ford chassis, specifically when driving through high elevation? Haven't done high elevation, but we've done. It accelerates very fast.
It accelerates nicely. But
it's the best acceleration of any of the sprinters we've had in this one. It really accelerates well. Now, it doesn't have the torque, the pulling power of those diesels that we had, but I'm not pulling anything.
But I think when the Mercedes engine, if you were in mountains, would be more
Sure,
the workhorse.
just straight on
It
up.
would be the workhorse.
We'll let you know when we're able to go west.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, and it's a gas engine, which is nice because it's easier to find fuel sometimes, and that's been good. Larry has a question, and he says, "I'm to receive my Rad4 City." That's his bike this week. Expected it to come in October. Thanks for the RV lifestyle discount. The Rad City e-bikes, they are so much fun. And that's the one. I have the city bike version, and you have the city bike, but you have the step-through version. Mm-hmm. And they are great. You'll have a great time, Lyle, and I'm glad you got that. I think it's a $75 discount if you tell them if you use RV lifestyle for it. Hi, Mike and Jen. Do ducted ACs serve the purpose in RVs? By the way, your channel is very informative. Well, thank you. We miss ducted. That's one thing we miss in this transit.
Yes, that's a definite miss.
We had ducted AC in the
Unity.
And I got to tell you, that is a bigger deal than I thought. I'm a little disappointed that we don't have ducted AC in this. It just got that center thing that and it just kind of like pushes out the air. It doesn't do a very good job of cooling off the front of the coach.
Yeah, Bo might have a complaint.
It does a good job in the
great job
in the bedroom.
Where we are, where you're sleeping, where most people want to cool.
But even when you shut down some of the vents that are over the bed, and it supposedly shoots for, it doesn't do nearly as well. The Unity model we had previous had a ducted air conditioning system, so it was great.
Everywhere.
Yeah, we do have ducted heat in this, but not ducted air, and that is one thing we do miss. So thank you for that, Summit G. Let's go on through another question from Larry. How do you coordinate the shifting with the pedal assist on the Rad City? Do you have to stop assist while shifting? No, you just pedal and back it down. Just turn it down. There's a little control on your left that will back it down however you want. Have you been to Cuyahoga National Park? If so, where did you camp? No, we were going to go there this month. We were planning to be there, but through COVID and some other shutdown and cancellations of some other things we were going to do first, we didn't get a chance to go. We've gone right past it.
We want to go there.
If you go
that is on our list.
Tell us. We'd still like to go this year.
Hopefully we can still get there this year.
How does financing work on one of these RVs? Is it like a mortgage where you put 20% down up front? Can you just walk into a dealer empty-handed and sign your life away? Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? But you do sign your life away, Scott. They do have like 20-year financing, which we don't really recommend because you're going to crank up so much in interest. These aren't like cars. Car interests are like what, 0%?
Yeah, the interest rates are kind of high on an RV, and I don't know why.
Well, the reason why, I asked about that.
Yeah.
I talked to the folks at Suncoast, who do great financing, and they said that the reason why is a recreation vehicle. Look at the first word, recreation. It's not necessarily an essential thing to have, and so when times get tough, the first thing people default on are usually boats, and then RVs. Cars are third because you need a car a little bit more. Now, I'm not talking about the million or so full-timers out there that it is essential, but of the 10 million RVs, there's only 1 million that are full-timers. So they charge a higher interest rate, and it's typically about 4 or 5%.
Well, that makes sense because that is, if you don't have a lot of money, you got to make the house payment, you got to make the car payment.
So if you're over 100 and I think it's 120,000, it's considered a jumbo loan, and you usually have to put about 20% down or more. I think on anything around 100 or less, it's 10% down. Other than that, you can set how many terms you want, and I believe they go up to 20 years. I don't think they go further than that.
And always make sure you can walk away without having to pay all that interest.
Have you ever had mice or other critters invade any of your RVs?
No.
And we're prepared. We had a big discussion about this on the
podcast.
On the podcast, we had a question on our RV Lifestyle Facebook group, which, by the way, if you haven't joined that, it's 41,000 of you out there who are members of that. Go join RV Lifestyle Facebook group. That's our group that we administer. And somebody asked about it, and one of the folks recommended this, the Ultrasonic Pest Repellers. You basically plug these in to you have to have your RV when you're not using it, you have to have your RV plugged into shore power so you can power these up. These are 110. And she did a test with them, found that when this was on, no mice came in her vehicle. She pulled it out, didn't use it. She had mice. She had traps set. Never caught anything. No sign of them when this was on. They didn't come in. They hate it. And so we liked her advice so much that we went and bought these. These are Bell & Howell Ultrasonic Pest Repellers. You plug it in and it drives pests out.
Now, I was thinking that I was going to give 3 of these to our son and daughter-in-law for their trailer.
For their trailer, yeah.
But their trailer's not plugged in any place because you need power.
Well, I think they do. I think they have a 20-amp power hookup to it, or they can. So it's pretty easy to do.
And then I wanted to read the fine print to see about dogs. I think that animals, I think we had this once before.
But did you see, it takes care of, believe it or not, it takes care of ants, mice and rats, spiders, and roaches. They all hate that noise. I did it. If you look at the podcast show notes on the RV Lifestyle blog, you'll see I linked to that. I put a link where you can get those. They're not very much. I think it's $30 for 3 of them.
Oh dear! Certain rodents may become accustomed to the noise.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
Let's hope they don't decide that.
Anyway, somebody else has had great response from that. We have not had mice, and we sure hope not.
But we are going to use this in our rig this year.
Jana has a question. We have a 2021 Wonder RTB in order. We can't tell from the new video or the brochures what type of covering goes over the cab windshield and side windows. Are they still pull drapes?
We have a snap-in, and I like the snap-in.
They're all snap-ins,
You snap it in. The Unity, we had a drape we pulled with a slit that you put on the visor.
It was kind of awkward.
I used clothespins to make
it was not, I didn't like that.
I'm sure other people don't have any problem at all.
I bet they do.
I just found it.
But
I like the snap in, and I've got to remember pull gently, because I don't want to rip anything.
Yeah, just
it
snaps all around, and it's much easier.
I like the snap.
It's easier than any of the other covering systems that we've had.
And what I like is it's tight to the window, so you're not losing a bunch of space.
Yep. Question: who created your cartoon artwork? It's great. It is. That's our graphics guy, Chris Cowley. I don't know if I haven't seen if Chris is here yet tonight. I see Phyllis is here. Phyllis Carr, our social media guru, who's helping moderate all the chat over there. Lots of you on. Chris Colley is usually here. I don't see him, but he did the artwork, got the artwork. And that's the one of Jen and me.
And our boat.
I have one. I was going to, if they're wondering what we're talking about, we even put it on our business card. So let's see. Where is one? There it is.
Our last road trek, we had a
is.
wrap. That was on both sides.
Chris Colley did that.
It was kind of embarrassing. And then in the back, too, everybody knew who we were.
Oh, yeah, we had that obnoxious rap.
You loved it.
I did like it. Well, until I saw it. Then I agreed with it. It was kind of obnoxious.
It was.
What's the most memorable, great moment you have seen, and what is the one that made you cringe in your travels?
Wow.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Memorable, great moment. I don't know. There's not one that comes back. We talked a couple weeks ago at our bear encounter and our moose encounter. And
those are pretty memorable.
Great hikes, Yellowstone, the buffalo, the bison that came up and huffed at you.
Yeah, there's all these great memories like that. And then camping, simply camping. When we took a trip out west with 2 of our 3 kids, spouses, and only one had 2 kids then. But our granddaughters, a good memory was everybody around the campfire, our granddaughters brought children from everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the s'mores were at the Wendlands.
You
know those good memories that you get?
You'd go into a campground, and the grandkids would then just fan out, and in 10 seconds they got a tribe, and the kids all play together, hang out for a day or 2 or however long, and then bye, everybody goes. You go to another campground, and they start, and kids are just so good to watch them make friends.
Yeah.
But just
that was just
camping with friends and family.
Yes, I mean the dynamic things with moose and bear and waterfalls, hikes. It's good.
Our winter campouts are such
fun.
great memories. The dog sled rides and I think one of the better ones for me was I did a story. I ran into a guy who had retired as a hospital CEO, and he wanted to follow his passion. He was building wooden canoes on the Mississippi River, and I got to paddle a canoe on the Mississippi. And every year we have a couple of great memories. So,
Yeah.
and that's the thing about the RV life. So every trip is a good one.
Every trip.
Even we were sharing some of their challenges with this past week. The refrigerator door falling off. It's no big. We'll get it fixed, and it kind of works, and it'll get working fine. But that's a great story. We'll laugh about that, and we'll laugh about the bacon cooking, and I'll solve the inverter issue. I think it's a fuse, and I got to just kind of dig in there or take it to the dealer, which is always a better idea. But that's a learning experience, and you just kind of roll with it. You know? And the anything that cringe, did we ever cringe? I think the thing that makes me cringe is when we're in a national park and you see people doing stupid things, trying to get selfies next to bison.
Make us cringe.
Or or stand on the edge of a cliff to take a selfie,
I guess I shouldn't call it cringing. Something I don't like is a crowded campground with lots of campfires and all the smoke. It's like, I don't do well with smoke.
Yeah,
but that's just a little personal thing. I kind of go, oh no, look at that smoke cloud.
We don't tend to go in campgrounds.
Yeah, we try not to.
Because, they're trying to make as much money as they can, so they have these little narrow lots, and they put fire pits right outside your window, and there's too many bad neighbors, and we try to stay away from campgrounds.
But yet, for so many people, that's perfect. They love that. They go in, and there's all kinds of organized activities for kids or grandkids. They got all these old crafts and things to do, and it's what people are looking for. We're all looking for different things.
We have a Wonder RL on order. What are the pros and cons of the expensive macerator option? You do not need it. Let me tell you that. You do not need it. Your toilet has a macerator, and we found out, I think, here last week from somebody named Linda why the toilet has a macerator. But what a macerator does is it grinds up solids. And a macerator is neater than the big black slinky tube that you use to dump the black tanks. It's messy. It's pretty messy. It's just, yeah. Macerator is a little tiny tube. It's much neater. You just, it's got a little donut on it. It seals into the dump, tight. There's nothing going around. Nothing, leaking around the side. And it grinds it up again and puts it in. I ordered one on this, and not realizing or taking into consideration the fact that they on the Unity twin bed that I have, and the Wonder twin bed. And I think the Unity Island bed, and maybe one other Unity model, they have located, because they have a big bathroom, the black water tank is actually uphill from the toilet. And so to get all that stuff in the black tank, they need the macerator, which kind of grinds it up and then pushes it up. So you have that if you're getting one of the Wonder twin bed like we have. I think that if you get the rear lounge, you won't have to worry about it. But we like a macerator on the other end, on the dumping end, because it's just neater and cleaner.
Maybe that's why you need a good salesman to explain this to you. What you have.
Yep. Can we cross the Michigan border with Florida plates? Absolutely, Les. Well, if it's you guys, I don't know. It's you and Kathy. I'm not sure.
And your little killer beast.
And that killer beast of yours that has the banshee out. I don't know. Les and his wife Kathy are a couple of friends of ours started with RV lifestyle, and then down in Florida we see them not enough lately. So I think they're coming up to Michigan. I'm going to have to let them know about you guys coming up. But normally, if you have a Florida plates, you certainly can. Let's say, here's a comment. Just wanted to say that you folks are very inspiring, and I love your spirit. I hope to travel my own RV someday. Many thanks. God bless you both and both. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
That's really kind of you.
Very kind of you.
We absolutely love it. We had a story on the blog I wrote last night about how many people are dropping out of this lifestyle. And the COVID pressure and stresses is a big reason why for a lot of people. Because it's a lot harder to camp, harder to find a campground. It's harder to boondock. People are going to boondock and they don't know anything about it. There's not following any of the leave no trace rules. They're emptying their tanks in the middle of the wilderness.
They're going to ruin it for everybody.
Well, they are. I mean, they have shut down in California. They've shut down in Utah. They're shutting down in Colorado. Forest Service and BLM land campgrounds that they used to have open for dispersed because people are so abusing it. So this year, it's just been like everything else in our country. It's just been a mess. And
we need more parenting.
yes, we do. So many of the full timers out there, particularly the more visible ones that do what we do, are coming off the road at least full time. They're putting their RVs in storage, or they're selling them in some cases. The idea they're getting houses, and the idea is that they'll go out on weekends and from time to time. But for now, they've had it, and there is a life cycle to all of this. You know, we talk in that blog post. You can go read it at rvlifestyle.com. We talk about that lifestyle. It's 3 years. 1 year is the first one. People just say, "Okay, we did it." And I think, by the way, those of you who have trouble finding an RV, come next spring, next summer, there's going to be a glut of barely used RVs on the market from all these people who bought one this year because they couldn't vacation. They used it. That's it, and they're going to be selling them. So that's kind of good news out of that. So 1 year is an anniversary, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Few have been doing it more than 10 years. So that's
and I think what kept us from burnout is keeping our home.
Yeah, I do too.
Not going full time. But I told him at Class B, if he 2 people and a 65-pound dog.
She said I could get a smaller B because there would only be one person and the dog. So, have you had any trouble with leisure travel van service department? I've heard and read this has been an issue. I don't know where you heard and read that. There's one blogger who rags on them and has had an experience unlike anyone else I've heard, and I'm not even going to get into that. I can only tell you that our experience with them has been masterful. I once had a step that burned out, and they airshipped it to me in time to have a mobile service tech fix it. Above and beyond service. There's a lot of stuff on the internet, and I want to tell you something, Linda, that there's a lot of people who want to throw their weight around. Say, oh, I've got all these social media, and you don't do what's right. I'm going to blast you on social media, and they do, and that's so wrong. Whenever you read somebody who says they've had a problem, just take this as a grain of salt, and it's an operating system. In fact, whenever you read anybody who has a negative opinion about a business, take this as salt with it. You're only hearing one side of the story. One side of the story is not necessarily the truth. There are always 2 sides. Sometimes there's 3. But if you're talking about one particular person, and I'm not going to give that person the name because I don't want to justify anything, it's a bunch of crap. I mean, they do a great job. They've been great for us. They've been great for everybody else I know who owns one. I know I've had these little issues I talked about this morning. You know, the early on we talked about the refrigerator coming off, and I called our dealer, Leisure, and they bend over backwards. They're texting me stuff and pictures, and they're on it 10 seconds after I asked the problem. I could not find better service. And
how about sharing that little pearl of wisdom that when you get upset about anything in life, we've learned this through the years.
When somebody gets you mad at them.
There's 2 sides to every story. And, when somebody tells you their side, there is another side. And we get so quick to get angry. And there are 2 sides to every story.
And it might be that somebody truly did have a bad experience, but put that in perspective. How many other people had a good experience? And that's the thing I don't like about the internet is there's so many people who abuse it, or in this me first thing, think that if they don't get what they want immediately, they're going to trash somebody's reputation. And when you read that stuff, whether it's politics, okay, whether it is about a business, whether it's about a friend or somebody gets mad at you, that's only one side. And you don't know why somebody did something. Maybe they're just having a bad day.
And I'm thinking the same thing about a physician.
People
get on there. I mean, some people are not very good, but the people are so quick to be nasty.
Yeah. Stan asked a question. What's your opinion on slide outs? We had a long discussion about that this week with a veteran RV guy who does a lot of repairs.
Yeah, he worked at a place where they had 600 RVs, and his advice was...
Don't get a slide. Now,
he says you have to know how to maintain them.
Yes.
You have
oil,
to.
lube them.
Yeah, you've
clean
got to
'em.
take care of them, and most people don't take care of things.
And
Are you good at taking care of things?
we didn't have much problem.
Well,
I
we
did
were
lube
only
ours.
had ours a year and a half,
I did lube
and it
ours.
was only 2 feet.
And yeah, it was only a short one like that big.
And then, what kind of warranty do you get when you buy your RV? What's the warranty? Is it 1 year, 3 years, or
well, most of
whatever?
I don't know what
I don't know.
it is for the slide. I think the slide is this covered
Slide.
by the manufacturers, a couple years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Every manufacturer is different. I don't have a problem with slides. I think slides used to have a lot more problems
Yeah, I
than they
think
do
so,
now.
too.
The technology and experience has taught the manufacturers how to do them because they're so popular.
Everybody's got
They had
slides.
so much room. But you know, they're a mechanical thing. Mechanical things break. You do have to maintain them. I would not hesitate to get like another Unity with the slide. Wouldn't hesitate at all. Would you?
No.
Okay. So that's our opinion.
Yeah.
Which isn't worth much, right? But that's ours. Roger, have you tried driving and camping in the shorter Wonder? No, we haven't. Ours is almost 25 feet long, and that's the only one I'm interested
What is
in.
the shortest Wonder?
19 feet, I think.
Oh.
Or maybe it's 21 on the Wonder. It might be. I think it's 21 on the Wonder.
And which one is that? I don't know.
Some of the other RV makers make the shorter
Okay.
ones. I think it's almost 20, 21, 22. I think it's the Coachman Beyond is one. And a couple other manufacturers have built on the shorter thing. I know on the Sprinter, the short Sprinter is 19 feet.
And our first Sprinter.
22 feet.
Yeah.
22
And we didn't
feet,
have any
90.
problem with it. It was great.
No.
And in fact, I find it easier to drive.
Yeah, I find no difference. I really like this. It drives
I'm much more
easier,
comfortable with
quieter.
shorter.
Yep. How do you treat the black and gray tank during storing the RV? Empty it. And I always put some
Antifreeze.
you don't have to put any antifreeze in if it's empty.
Okay.
But you want to make sure you get it empty. That's one of the nice things about having the automatic levelers because I can raise one side and really drain it out well. But you don't have to do anything with it. Just get it empty. And then I always do a little sterilization of it at the start of the year. I put a little bleach and some water and let it slosh around, then empty it. And then I also, it's the black and gray tank. And we use, I can't think of the name now. It was on the tip of my tongue of the deodorizer that we use that we like so much. But
The powder?
yeah, it'll come to me. Gosh, why can't I remember that? Can't remember everything. That's it. How's your gas mileage now compared to the previous diesels? We love Jennifer's organizing skills. 12.3 is what I got on this trip. It was 12.1 for most of the trip, and then coming home it was 12.3. On the Sprinter we had with the Unity, it was about 14.5 that we got. So that was it. Does the Wonder have adaptive cruise control, which automatically adjusts? I believe it does. I don't use cruise control as much as I should. If it doesn't have it, it's not a big deal to me because I really didn't like adaptive cruise control. But I think it does. It has pretty much everything except blind spot detection, which because it's a Class C and it's wider, Ford doesn't put that on the cutaway chassis. Have you ever experienced someone road raging at you? How do you deal with it?
We stay out of the big cities, except when we have to pass through quickly.
Who is telling us about how they dealt with road rage?
I don't know.
It was a good one.
Oh, I hope you can
Okay,
remember it.
I do remember it. So they would, when the guy flips them off or does something, the guy would go, "God loves you." And you can see, he said you
both
could,
hands off the wheel?
Yeah, well, I don't know how he did it, but he did that, and he said these road rivers, he didn't know, what do you do with that? Anyway, that's how he did it. We've never had road rage.
Yeah.
I've gotten honked at a couple of times, and usually if it's something I did wrong, I just kind of wave, like I'm saying sorry, but we've never had anything bad.
The community that we live in is the third safest in the whole country.
Right now
Where our Sticks and Bricks house is. And it's the safest city in Michigan. And what I've noticed lately is having the college, we have a college not too far away, we have more young people tearing around because we've lived here 27 years. And people have always been so nice. And now it seems like the younger generation, toot the horn, get on your bumper, are so angry over the littlest things which is crazy. And I think that goes back to the craziness of our time and the lack of manners.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody makes a little mistake. Unless it's life-threatening, to carry on like you did me a great injustice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
David, how are you doing with the Nomad internet system? Still like it? Absolutely. We used it entirely on this last trip. And just solid, reliable internet. We were in a pretty remote area, too, there in southeastern Michigan. And used it on the road, used it everywhere. And it's just always on. And we are always connected. Missed one from Linda. She says, what is your recommended maintenance, preventative, or otherwise schedule that minimizes unexpected maintenance breakdowns? We've been very lucky. In almost 9 years, we've only had a couple of breakdowns and none that we had to... Well, we had one we had to be towed, but we were already stopped where we wanted to be at that time. We do just what they suggest in the owner's manual, for oil changes and all that stuff. We just follow that routinely. I don't do my own oil changes, but we find the dealer and they, mechanic, they do it. In terms of maintenance, there's not a lot you have to do. One of the things is we lube the step that goes out back and forth. That should be done every couple months. When we do use the refrigerator, it's easy now because the door falls off. When you turn it off, you can just leave it open. And if you leave it closed, it kind of gets mold and odory.
Yeah.
It's easy to see with this door that falls off. It's not a problem now. It can just sit there like that. So.
Yeah, you got to leave the doors open.
Yeah.
It'll get nasty. And you wipe it out. As soon as you get home, clean out the refrigerator, dry up all that water in there. You don't want mold. You don't want it stinky.
Yeah. Do you think a B plus is too big for urban boondocking? We want to be able to visit New York City or park in the middle of other cities. A
Smaller,
B plus
the better.
is pretty big. Pretty big. It's a little harder to get away with than it is in just a B van.
Yeah.
Not saying you couldn't, but it's a little too big for me. And we don't do urban boondocking. Frankly, we stay away from urban areas as much as possible, and particularly in these times that we're in now. I have no desire to go to an urban area.
And our friends who wanted to know about the plate, Kathy and Les, they do a lot of New York City.
Yeah, they want to know about
boondocking.
Yeah, they do a lot, but they're in a B, in a regular B, not a B plus, and they've had no problems. And they've shown me some photos where they're just stealth camping and in great areas. So a B camper van, yeah, a B plus. I think you might find that a little too big, and it might be a little more difficult. All right, I'm looking for more questions. Lots of you on tonight. We keep, I think, setting records at this thing. Is Leisure Travel Bands planning to offer a lithium option? They do already. Yeah, I got lithium on ours, and it's an option. They already have one, so it doesn't get there. Thank you to Phyllis, who has a great thing. If we don't get to your question, don't worry. Go to our Facebook group. They do. People, if I can't answer it, somebody else will there, and that's just rvlifestyle.com/Facebook, and you can join that group, and you can find so many.
How do you secure food in the refrigerator? I saw that question.
Where did I say? Oh, okay. How do we secure food in the refrigerator? Oh yeah, you had it. Oh, that was another thing that happened. A bottle of juice, grape juice or something, in the refrigerator. You put it on its side and it leaked all over.
Well,
we had a lot of adventures this weekend.
It had worked tight, and then for some reason it decided to leak.
It leaked.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess.
Yep.
Cherry juice, really.
Cherry juice. How do you secure food?
I just pack it carefully. Eggs, you put a rubber band. Fruit, packages of fruit, you put a rubber band so it doesn't come undone. You have to space everything just so.
Yeah. Mike says, with more people camping due to the pandemic, I'm hearing that the parks are extremely crowded and hard to get into. Has this been your experience? Mike, it is. They're a mess. They're just really crowded. The one we were in, for example, only had, what did you say?
98 sites.
98 sites.
92.
This is last week.
Were seasonal.
So people who would rent, because they were on a little lake, and they'd rent, from April to October.
So
and they had 6 open for transients.
Mm-hmm.
And the first night we got there, we were the only one.
Right.
And then they filled up Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So,
yeah.
And that one is a very remote campground. You'd never have any idea it's there. Other campgrounds, I hear it every day from people who are saying, "Why we tried to get in." I read on our Facebook group the other day someone who was going from the East Coast to the West, and they were trying to boondock their way or stay every 330 miles, or 330 rule, trying to stay in a KOA or a campground, and every place they barely got in without reservations. They couldn't get in any of them. They had to make reservations 2 or 3 days ahead. They got to, I think he said, Kansas, and they could not get anything in the entire state. They had to drive through the whole state to go into Nebraska
I feel
to get
their
one.
pain.
And it's just insane right now.
So Harvest Host must be busy.
Harvest Host is very busy. Almost all of them are. Boondocking sites that are never used are overcrowded. So it's a big challenge right now. We planned this big trip to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we keep pushing it back a week because we're waiting for, hopefully some kind of school will start, and that'll keep some off. Hopefully these remote jobs will stop, and the people have to go back to an office or a factory. And usually from Labor Day on, you can take your pick up in Lake Michigan, or up in the Upper Peninsula. Everything shuts down in October because it starts to get cold at night. So, we're now thinking, mid to late September, we're going to hopefully go up there. And we hate making reservations because we travel. Let's go look at that, or let's go over here. We hate to have to be somewhere. And now it's, at least this year, you have to be somewhere. It's been crazy, so it's not good. All right, looking through.
This is an unusual year. We can all agree upon that. And we don't know how long this virus is going to be with us. We don't know what next year brings.
No, it's...
Chris is here.
Hi, Chris. That's Chris Colley right there. Yep, we boondock in the winter. Yes, we do. We're new to the RV life and want to explore state and national parks in Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois. Any recommendations on favorite campgrounds? Well, this year, whatever you can get in, Just as a general rule, Jeff.
Joining our group and asking people for favorites?
Joining our Facebook group. It's the best group on anywhere out there. RV Lifestyle is the name of the group. But you can get to it, rvlifestyle.com/Facebook, and then join it. We do have it. It's moderated. We try and keep all the spammers out, all the politics, all the profane people, all the jerks. It is online. We have great moderators. Shout out to them. But a couple of things. National park campgrounds are usually in pretty bad shape. That's why we just did the Great Outdoors Act. They're getting some money. Finally, they've been behind in maintenance for years. That's good news that money is going to come. The federal government agreed on one thing so far this year, and that's it. But national park campgrounds are tough. State park campgrounds are very hard to get into. Generally, we like state park campgrounds. They would be our choice over a commercial campground. KOAs are a little more expensive. There's lots of good ones. If you're going to national parks, if you're going to go to like the Mammoth Cave National Park, there's a KOA not far from there called the Dead Horse Cave KOA, I think it is. It's a very nice KOA. But you're going to have to get reservations right now for any park. And it will be better, I think, next year. But it's pretty crazy.
And like I say,
now.
Asking others. Join this group and ask, because people will tell you about spots that are good to know about.
Why did you start RVing? Why?
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun?
Yeah.
We had no cosmic reason except we like the outdoors.
Well,
we like each other.
We grew up in, kind of mid-Michigan.
Michigan,
yeah, and
Bay
City.
Is right there.
We're both from Bay City.
We're down here right now.
We moved to the Detroit area for Mike's
north
work.
Of Detroit, but that's where we're from.
We're from that part of Michigan.
Our favorite place is anywhere from here up. And then up here in the UP, we like that too.
Yeah. But we just had lots of woods, and I mean, your dad used to take you out in the woods hunting. A lot of people be offended by that, but it was something that you did. You did with your dad, and you loved it.
I did.
It was guy time.
Yeah, I like to fish. I like to hunt. I don't hunt anymore. I
prefer
hunting with a camera.
Cameras.
I kind of, I don't need to do that. We don't eat the meat. I'm not going to kill an animal. My parents all did. Fed it, pheasants, deer, duck. Kind of raised on that. But we love being outside. There's something about the outdoors, and the wilder the better. And it's rare that two people share that. usually have to talk one of them in. And so as soon as we were married, we started right then camping, and grew up with our kids camping. And now it's not only our part time, it's our job. And we've been doing this it'll be 10 years in March that we've been doing this. And we talked earlier about so many people quitting because we're on the road half to 3/4 of the time, not full time.
It's still fun for us.
It's every trip is an excitement. Now we've been home 2 days, and I know if I said, "Do you want to go someplace this week?" You'd say, "Yeah, let's go. Can we go Wednesday?" You'd say, "We got to do the podcast early. We got to do that," and we have to plan our trips around all of our stuff. But we love it, and you will too. Let's see. I'm going for questions. Please put in caps. I know I'm missing some because it's harder to read them for us, and I'm trying to scroll. Do you run your inverter while driving to have your 110 outlets live for charging computers, as an example? Most of the time, no, but sometimes we do. If I am doing a lot of video stuff, I always have a battery that needs to be charged. I use 12 volts to charge our laptops, our tablets, our phones, our watches. I use 12 volts to charge. I've got several of my batteries that will charge with 12 volts. So we don't have to run the inverter. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything while you're driving, but we don't. And we also try and not use it as much as possible. Now, like if we're going to use these mice repellents, we wouldn't use them while we're in it because it would drive Bo nuts.
And it's also for roaches and spiders and ants. It's for all kinds of bugs.
That's pretty cool. All right, I'm scrolling down here fast because we are getting done, and I know there's a lot of you.
Okay.
I can do a little more?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Bill, do you use the ham radio in the RV anymore? Nope, there's nobody on ham radio anymore, Bill. Or if there is, well, okay, I'll tell you really the reason I don't. Because it's noisy, and I end up focusing on the ham talk and all the rag chewing. That's what they call it when people are just chit chatting on ham radio, and it's not necessarily pleasant for you, right?
A lot of noise.
It's a lot of noise.
And driving is a full-time job.
Yeah. I do. I have.
And you love it at home.
I love it at home. And I have a great portable rig where I could set it up, and do mobile, portable operation from anywhere. I've got portable antennas, and I've got a nice little battery-operated system. But I don't do very much. I don't even have it in the car. And I just did a story, by the way. Nobody's asked me about this, about Midland Radio and how we've got these couple of family radio and general radio service walkie-talkies. We love the walkie-talkies. We use that a lot. And we used it particularly this past week when we were shooting some drone video. And Jen would have to drive in frame or stop or turn or whatever. And I'd give her the cues so I knew I could get the drone in position. And we use it to back in. And if I'm going off on a hike, it's nice just to call her on that rather than the cell phone. But I did use that little mobile radio thing, the $149 15-watt transceiver that's for the general mobile radio service. I had that on much of the whole trip, never heard a word. Couple of static breaks were businesses. I could hear businesses talking about making a delivery and stuff, but I don't want to hear that. No truckers on Channel 7, as they said that truckers were hanging out there. None. And I was on some of the busiest freeways. None. It's just not. I'm pulling it out. I don't need it. I told you I'd tell you about it, and
okay. Bill also said he tried to send a super chat and it didn't work. So you haven't even noticed that you didn't get any super chats tonight.
I did notice, but I didn't want to say
us.
anything because it would sound like I was begging. Because last week we got super chats galore, enough to take you out for dinner.
So anyway, your super chat thing isn't working.
No way. Why isn't super chat working? Hey, Jason says I could do a better job than Christopher Colley on graphics. Jason, because you said that, I can tell you couldn't. No, I'm sure you're just kidding, but you couldn't. You're not as nice a guy.
Aww,
well, I know Chris. I wouldn't change. Chris is awesome. So you don't badmouth somebody else to get work. It wouldn't work. And I know you're just kidding. So I don't. Nothing personal, Jake. I know you're just kidding. So let's see. What did you say? Yellowstone, your guide was great. Tried to send a super chat. I don't know why that wouldn't work. What am I going to do?
No dinner this week. No, just joking.
Chris had a comment to Jason, but I won't put that up.
I got to get so close.
It's pretty good. Can you read that?
No, one too far away.
I'm not
Get
going
a
to put
big
it up.
magnifying
Good for you,
glass.
Chris. Right on, buddy. Lynn, we're getting ready to go camping at Potato Creek in northern Indiana. Have you been in the RV museum in Elkhart? We have.
Yes.
Highly, highly recommend it. We're also thinking on seeing if we can get a tour at Forest River. I don't know if they're doing tours because of COVID, but I know the RV Museum and Motorhome Hall of Fame is open. Highly recommend it. Budget 4 hours for that. 4 hours. There's so much to see.
Well, we had a guided tour.
Well, we had the head of it give us a tour.
Yeah, so it was
We
awesome.
have a great video on the channel here. If you want to look at that ahead of time.
It was better than I thought it would be.
I don't remember if they have a cafeteria there or not. Could I say? But it's a really great tour. And go look up at the video. We've got one here on the channel where we did a tour. Hey, there is a super chat. There it is. It's $15 from Bill. Yeah. So there you go, Bill. It did come through. What happened is I didn't get notified of it, or I was just jabbering so much I didn't see it. Here's the problem with the little system I use. When I get a super chat, sometimes I'll see a notification, but it doesn't show up at the top of the screen. I'm using a different platform.
It used to go up to the top.
Every now and then, I might have had it covered up. But thank you very much for that, Bill. We appreciate that. That's great. But I answered it even without the $15. See? So you got double answers. 73, Bill. William, great videos. If you try to avoid campgrounds, where do you like to stay? Just ordered a 2021 Wonder Murphy bed. Anticipated delivery this time next year. Yeah, that's why we were so lucky. We ordered this one in January and got it in June. And I just saw somebody copied me a look that he got from the factory rep. It's 12 to 14 months out now if you ordered one of these Wonders. And the Unity's the same, 12 to 16 months out.
I think it's parts. They can't get...
Well, it's not so much parts, it's chassis and demand. These things are in such high demand.
Yeah, that's probably true, too.
So where do we stay in campgrounds? Well, we tend to boondock. We tend to use Harvest Host. I just had an interview this week on our podcast. Do you guys all know about the RV podcast? We do a podcast every Wednesday. It's an hour-long, like a radio magazine, and we always have a good interview. And this one is on something called Faithful Parking. And it's a guy who set up a network of churches around the country that will let you overnight in their parking lot. Some of them even have electric hookups, which is great. So Harvest Host, that kind of stuff. Boondockers Welcome, we use that. Overnight RV parking, places where people will let you stay for free or very little fee. Bureau of Land Management land, a forest land, dispersed camping land. Those are our favorite places. If you go to rvlifestyle.com, just scroll down on the right-hand side are links to almost all of these things, and you can see it and get some ideas. All right, let's find some more questions here. Was it the inverter on the Wonder that failed? No, well, yeah. I think it's between the batteries, the lithium batteries, and the Wonder. I am suspecting a fuse. Now, the folks at the dealer sent me a picture of the fuse block by the lithium batteries. I don't feel real comfortable messing around with all that power. And they're big 150 amp fuses, and I know which one it is. I haven't taken it off to look to see if I can see signs that it blew, but all the symptoms are that the fuse didn't work. What had happened is we had stopped. We were on the inverter, and we were using the microwave. We used the microwave to warm up some food for lunch, and we were kind of day camping. And so it worked then, right? And then about 10 minutes later, I was charging a battery, and it wouldn't charge, and I looked, and the inverter wasn't working. So I think somehow that microwave popped a fuse. It shouldn't have, because we have a 2,000 watt inverter. The microwave draws about 1,500, 1,200 at peak. So anyway, that's all technical stuff. Most of you aren't interested in that, but we're still kind of working about it. Gary liked our rear door story. Yes, it was ridiculous. It's a great refrigerator because I had just done, and I'll show it, I had just done an update to see how cold is it. And in the refrigerator part, it was, I think, 37 degrees. And the freezer part was 3.3 degrees. So it was great. Or maybe it was minus 3.3. I don't remember. But then the door fell off. So It's crazy. All right, I'm looking for questions. On your new rig, how good is your monitor for your gray and black tanks? Accurate. Our old Rotrex not so good. That's a good question, Debbie. I'm a little disappointed with what I'm seeing with it, and I'll talk about it in the video that we'll have probably Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, someday. Saturday. We used to go in the black tank. We always go in the black tank, but I mean, we used to be able to boondock for 4 and 5 days, right, without any problem. And this one, after overnight, the next morning it was like 65% full. Now, what's up with that? Because we've only had this thing 2 months. It's our first real use of it, you know. And then, so I emptied it that day, and I used it the second day, and it was 55% full the next morning. Same capacity as we had in the Unity, 28 gallons for the black, 28 gallons for the gray. In terms of the shower, we could take 4 days worth of showers, so that's 8 showers. We took 2 showers, and it was at like 40%, the gray tank 40% filled. So either something's screwed up with the reading, or it's this Firefly system that in the monitoring and wherever they're putting the sensors. My suspicion is, based on when I emptied them both, that I could have put a lot more in there. So I think that the sensors aren't as accurate as they should be. I'll let you know. And that's always the problem with every RV. The sensors, you know, the more you use it, solids and toilet paper cake up on them. And you want to clean it all out. Usually you can put a wand in. Some of them have something called the Santee flush, which we have in ours. But I don't think that was it with ours because we've only really used it that one night, you know. And so I'll let you know as we get through it. But that is a kind of a crazy one. Too much time spent on negative questions. Have we had any negative questions? I don't think anybody's asked a negative question. Oh, well, some people are just very sensitive, I guess. Let's see. Question. For someone that has never pulled an RV, would you suggest bumper pull or fifth wheel? Cindy, I've never driven either one of them. Well, I guess I had a trailer early on in our RV lifestyle. We had a little 13-footer when we were with our kids, 3 kids and a dog.
Well, just one.
One kid?
Yeah. Well, we got the trailer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had the trailer. Then we got a camper. It was 3 kids. You can learn either one of them. They're not that difficult. The big thing that you want to learn on the trailer is backing up, and people can show you how that. You just need somebody to kind of give you a range. Same thing with the fifth wheel. It's probably a little easier on a fifth wheel. I don't know. I suspect it is. I've never had either one, but everybody's, you know, once you get out there and just drive and practice a little bit, not a lot. And if you have a dealer, maybe the dealer can teach you. If you have a friend who has one, they can teach you. But you'll pick it up and won't have any problem. I love your handle, Crafty Grandma. So that's good. All right. Let's go find some questions. Is the Pleasure Way a 4-season RV? I don't believe so. I don't think there's very few true 4-season RVs for regular RVers. If you're an overlander, hardcore survivalist type expedition vehicle, you can probably do that. But I don't know of any that are, commercially made production vehicles that are there. Would you still winterize your RV if you stored it in a climate-controlled facility for a few months? Probably not, as long as it didn't get down below
on the climate control working.
Yeah, I would not. If I was going to, here's the challenge. So if you say, like in Michigan, if we had put ours in storage in a climate-controlled building, and suddenly we say, well, let's go to Florida at the end of January, as we drove through Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and even into Tennessee, we'd be driving in very cold weather, so you wouldn't want any water in the system. If you get the system completely dry, and you keep it warm, and then just take off and drive, you're probably okay. But drive fast to get to above temperature. One of the reasons that I would like to move and sell this house is so we could build a garage or find a house with a barn, a big pole barn that I could heat and keep our RV in it. Because we travel every month. We're somewhere. Winters, it would be nice not to have to winterize.
But you got to get there quick.
Yeah, you got to get there quick.
You're playing with fire.
Yeah. Let's see. Does the Ford come with cruise control, and is there a key fob activated alarm on the driver? Yes, there is an alarm right there. I don't know if you can see that's red down there. I'm not going to turn it on, and this, of course, opens and closes. Although I just bought something new that I may try. This is the RV lock. It's a combination. It does have 2 keys you can use, and it has a fob. But more importantly, it's a combination to get in and out. And I'm anxious to try that out. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Questions. Good questions. Marty, what do you think of spending the night at a truck stop?
I think it'd be a little noisy, but it would be fine. You can spend the night there.
Be noisy. It would brightly lit.
I don't know. I think most
trucks
of them
are pretty
turn
noisy.
off their exhaust.
They let them run. Most of those diesels run, but they usually keep the trucks back, and they say if you can spend in an RV, you spend out front. But people are coming and going all night. After the bars close, people always are stopping. It's open. There's food, and it's just so it's not our choice.
There might be some that would be quiet, but I think most are noisy.
We stayed in a rest area truck stop one night somewhere out in Wyoming. And we were the only ones there when we pulled in about 11. And about 3, we woke up smelling diesel exhaust. We were surrounded by these big trucks, all their engines running, the brakes bleeding, how they do. Lights. It was just a mess. So we couldn't sleep. We just pulled the drapes back and drove middle of the night for 3.5 hours to get to Rapid City, I think it was, South Dakota, where we found a KOA at sunup and spent 4 hours sleeping.
People, probably us pulling in.
So truck stops, it would not be my choice. It's pretty crazy. All right, looking crazy here through here.
Now I feel you've made up for the 10 minutes that we told our tale at the beginning.
Our Class B has a bed that makes a very uncomfortable bed. Do you know of any mat? I think you mean mat. Anything? We know what you mean. The sofa that makes into a bed.
Yeah, we would just get some foam. Just find something. Try different. You can probably take them back. We went to REI. We went all different places. Because then your problem is in the Class B, you have to store it someplace. Unless you're going to leave your bed made up all the time. And we never left the bed made up all the time because we have our big dog. Yeah. We've always had a 65-pound dog with the Class B.
Yeah.
So we didn't leave the bed made up. Some people leave their bed made up all the time. And some people who live in a Class B all the time will have a mattress put in and a real bed in the back.
Hey, we're getting super chats, and forgive me for not finding them as fast. Steve Bitto, working. Thank you, Steve. Steve, you're doing this every week. You do not have to do that. He gives us super chat almost every week. Thank you, Steve. Jennifer, we might get you a lunch out this week. And Deborah Jackson, a $24.99. Wow. Thank you, Deborah. You are so sweet. We so appreciate all of these. Patty Capel is a super chat. Another $24.99 saying thank you. For what? We're just talking. You guys, I feel guilty when you all do that, and yet I feel like, wow, we got super chats, and that is so kind of you all. Let's go through real quick if I'm missing anything, because I need to get us out of here because it's after 8 already. Do you feel that the Nomad is reliable enough to use full-time at home use? I have one right here. Actually, we are going to give one away. These guys are going to become a sponsor on our podcast. And one of the things that we're going to do is give one of these away with, I think, 9 months of free service, too. Yeah, you can. You could. I don't know, where you live and how the cell phone services are, but that's what this company was known for, is giving it, having it for rural areas where you didn't have cable internet, and so you do cellular internet with that. And it's been really reliable for us in the vehicle. I had it all the way 24/7 all the time we're there. Let's see, Raymond. Netgear Nighthawk M1 overheating when charging. Mine is plugged in all the time, Raymond. 24/7 it's been plugged in. And it's not overheated. And that's been for a month. Wi-Fi shutting down from overusage never happened with them. I've been on. It's not an issue, So, I mean, if it is, I'll let you know, but it hasn't happened yet. Favorite place to camp in the UP? I'm going to make that probably our last one here let's both come up with one. I bet I know yours, but what is your favorite place to camp?
I like St. Ignace State Park because I like to look at the bridge. I love the Mackinac Bridge and I love Mackinac Island. And then I like up at the Straits. If you can watch the freighters go through, that is fun.
Yeah. Oh, the Sioux
Sault Ste.
Rocks.
Marie.
The Sioux, yeah. My favorite place is boondocking, and it's in the National Forest. I forget where, but it's up somewhere near Lance, L-A-N-S-E, Michigan. There's a whole bunch of spots out there where you can boondock.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like the fact that there are wolves, there's moose, there's bear, and it's beautiful. And this time of year, the bugs start to die down. So when we're up there in September, October,
I'm really worried about when we decide to go up. Then it's going to be fall color, people.
We're
never going to.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, we're going up.
Well, hopefully we can find a place.
Yeah, if we have to just camp someplace, we'll do. Oh gosh, these guys have so many great questions. I hate.
Now you got a red light saying you've got a super chat from somebody, but you made it disappear.
Okay, does your dog hang out in the RV when you're out exploring where pets are not allowed? Safe to leave pets alone in the RV, and how do they not overheat?
That's a good question. We're going to be here till 8:30.
Yeah. So you want to answer that one?
Is it safe? Is your dog going to bark and carry on and rip apart the interior of your RV? You know your dog. If it's hot out, you have to have monitors. I am not really comfortable when it's hot. Some places, some states, they'll rescue your dog. They'll break the windows and rescue your
Some places
pet.
against the law, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Even in an RV.
Right.
We use a device called the Nimble Pet Safety Monitor, and I just had to renew it for another year. It cost me $120 a year for cell service, but I keep it plugged in or charged, and I get a notice on my cell phone what the temperature inside the RV is, and it's been just awesome. I get that, and I can tell whether it's too hot. We have a generator that automatically will kick on when the temperature reaches a certain, or when the battery gets a little bit too low. So I can keep, if I have to run the air while we're out for Bo, it will work. So we use that, but your dogs can't go everywhere, and you have to be really
and it's tough because Bo has ended up at doggy daycare.
Sometimes we put him in doggy daycare for a day.
The dog boarding Rover.
If you are such that you never can leave your pet with somebody else, it's not going to work out real well for you because you can't go off and explore many places with the dog.
And you know why? Because a deer, bear, moose,
good. And wildlife. It disturbs wildlife, and wildlife can endanger them. So we use Rover, which kind of lets dogs stay in people's houses.
We had a bad experience once.
We did. Out of all the times we used it, we've used it many times all over the country. We often will call a vet, and the vet, we say, do you have daycare? And they know, but the guy down the street, Julie does, or somebody, and we'll go down there, and Bo will stay in daycare, and we'll pick him up at night. So it's a hassle.
Yeah.
It is a hassle. All right, here is that super chat. This is from Ivan and Josie Montanez. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, because it's for $14.99. I want to pronounce it right. Is there a particular Wi-Fi booster and cell booster you recommend? I don't use one anymore. Have not needed one now with the way the cell networks are going. But probably, the sort of the gold standard out there is WeBoost, and I believe it's the RG7. It seems right. I may have that number down, but it's about $499. And it's an outside antenna, and then it's an inside antenna as well. So the outside antenna brings it into the booster. The booster sends out the signal, and it sends it out through an inside antenna for your network. But WeBoost, you can look it up. Just look for WeBoost for RV, and you'll see on their set. But that's the one I would probably recommend.
Now you got to cut it off.
I am going to cut it off.
Yeah.
It's been long. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being with us. We got a lot out. Big post tomorrow about an $8 part that could save your water system. I urge you to look at that when you're hooking up water. So many new people out there, and there's a lot of differences in campgrounds. Make sure you look at that at the rvlifestyle.com. And Wednesday on the podcast, the RV podcast, we got a great one for those of you looking for places to store your RV, but don't want to pay all that money that they charge you for storage. We have a service that will find it for half the cost pretty much. And that's going to be on the podcast. And next Saturday on our YouTube channel, we're going to kind of talk about the big adventure we just had and all the fun we had in Michiana. So lots more, plus daily content on the blog. We'll see you on our Facebook group. Thanks to Chris. Thanks to Phyllis for being there tonight and keeping everything straight. But thanks to most of you. Thanks to all of you who sent us the Super Chat. We really appreciate that kind support.
Have a wonderful week.
Have an awesome week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Happy trail.